Deanna for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses. The Bipartisan American Service Members Protection Act was enacted in 2002 to protect U.S. military personnel, U.S. officials and military personnel of certain allied countries against criminal prosecution by an international criminal court to which the U.S. is not a party, stating, quote, "In addition to exposing members of the armed forces of the United States to the risk of international criminal prosecution, the Rome Statute creates the risk that the President and other senior elected and appointed officials of the United States government may be prosecuted by the International Criminal Court." In 2020, President Trump issued Executive Order 13928, sanctioning ICC officials, employees, and associates who engaged in any effort by the ICC to investigate, arrest, detain, and prosecute U.S. citizens or allies, including Israel, that are not part of the ICC or have not granted the ICC jurisdiction. Unfortunately, on April 2nd, 2021, President Biden revoked Executive Order 13928, allowing the ICC to target U.S. citizens and Israel. And just 3 years later, the prosecutor of the ICC, Karim Khan, announced arrest warrant applications for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant, together with warrants for Hamas terrorists. So my question is for Mr. Crow. Mr. Crow, yes or no, does the ICC have the jurisdiction it's claiming over Israeli officials? Yes or no?
That's not a yes or no question. There are a lot of factors that we have to take into account, and I mentioned those earlier.
It's a very easy yes or no question. Do you believe
it's
the
not
ICC...
an easy yes or no question.
Do they
There's
have jurisdiction over
The issue
Israeli
of legal
officials?
jurisdiction is a very complicated, fact-specific question of which there needs to be debate and there needs to be a full hearing.
Will the gentlelady yield?
Because of the lack of clarity.
I'm just saying that's why there should have been a hearing on this bill.
So I understand you've said many times, and you've kind of done backbends to talk about how that we should not be subject to the ICC in the United States, but yet we should stay engaged with them and not impose sanctions. And in fact, in April of 21, Secretary of State Blinken issued a statement maintaining long-standing objection to the court's efforts to assert jurisdiction over personnel of non-states parties such as the United States and Israel. However, he also added, our concerns about these cases would be better addressed through engagement with stakeholders in the ICC process rather than through the imposition of sanctions. But Mr. Crow, isn't engagement a signal that the ICC has some sort of authority over the United States that they don't have?
No, that's not true at all, nor have I done backbends. I've been extremely clear about this, that there are many examples in complicated foreign policy issues where we are not part of a treaty or not a part of a partnership, but we can still engage peripherally and support certain elements of treaties and partnerships. We do that all the time.
I would argue that by engaging, you are giving legitimacy to the ICC over the interests of the United States, when in fact the United States has never joined the ICC or the Rome Statute under a Republican or a Democrat administration. The Crow argument is that we're better off by staying engaged with an unaccountable international body, but this shows that notwithstanding increased U.S. engagement under recent Democrat administrations, our worst fears are coming true. The ICC is claiming jurisdiction over non-parties without any legal basis. To me, we should go back to President Trump's position. We have seen military recruitment at an all-time low under the Biden administration, and their current position on the ICC makes, I believe, it even less likely that young men and women would want to join our armed forces when the government of the United States is allowing legitimacy to the International Criminal Court, which could subject them to investigation and prosecution.
When the gentlelady
and with
yield
that,
time?
I yield back.
Can I have some time, Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, just to correct the record, the American Service Members Protection Act is law. It remains alive and well, and it provides full protection to the U.S. service members, and nothing in this bill, whether it passes or not, would change that.
Thank you for the clarification. The gentleman from Georgia is recognized for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's all been said. I would point out that